I have got a good one for you today. You're gonna love it. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. In 80 years, 90 years, 100 years, you and I will be 6 feet under. So you got two options. As a matter of fact, you got three options, but I'm gonna give you two options. And then we'll talk about the third one after. The first option, you're like, screw it. You're like, screw it. And follow your animalistic desires, which is your bodily desires, your lust, love, hunger, etc., etc. You just let yourself go, complete dependency on your body, on your behaviors, on your desires. Complete dependency on your bodily desires. Because it's not going to matter, right? Who's to tell you you can do and you cannot do, right? If you want to be a rebel, you can. You can literally do whatever you want. People underestimate how much free will they have. They're like, "Oh, we don't have free speech." Bro, you are free to do whatever you want. Now, obviously, with you learning this fact, you're also going to learn that for every action has an opposite and equal reaction. So if you want to be a rebel, you can. It's not that you can't, you can. But you just have to be willing to accept the fact that there will be a price to pay. You want to be a loser, you can. But there's a price to pay. You're not going to be able to afford whatever you want. You're going to be called a dumbass. You're going to be, you're going to be a nobody. You're not going to be able to afford shit. You want to be the best, you can, but you just have to know that you got to put all the hard work, all the dedication, all the focus, etc., etc., etc. So people misunderstand free will. You literally have freedom to do whatever you want. You are in 2024, about to be 2025, which is crazy because of Nuketown 2025. Anyways, um, the fact of the matter, that is the first option you got. You can do that. You can be like, fuck it, I'm gonna do my own thing. Um, I got free will. I'm just gonna follow my bodily desires. Cool, man. And then you get option number two. I thoroughly thought about this. Option number two, you understand that your existence is not some random lab experiment that happened to work and you came to be. You recognize that there is a bigger purpose for you to exist. You repeatedly maneuver through your failures till one thing sticks and makes you realize how joyful and beautiful this game of life is when played truthfully. People don't realize that life is beautiful, and a depressed person will tell you otherwise. A person who wants to kill themselves will tell you otherwise. A person who has shit ton of debt and doesn't know where his next meal is will tell you otherwise. Um, every person gets served a card that they need to play with the way you look, with your genes, with what family you're born in, whether they're wealthy or not, whatever the case may be. Do you have any deformities? You got any mental illnesses? Whatever the case is. Some things you don't have control over. Some things you cannot change. You can't change your height unless obviously you do some surgeries and that requires money, and I'm talking about the regular natural way. Some things you cannot control. You can't control who are you born into. You can't control whether you're going to be born a millionaire or not. But what you can control, you can't stress over that. You can stress over how can I be a millionaire instead of, oh, I wasn't born a millionaire, therefore I'm not gonna be. Things you are not in control over, just forget about. Just put it in the back pocket, or even don't even have a back pocket for it, because there's nothing else you can petition for or petition in for. It's not gonna matter if you knew the things you can't control. The only useful part of knowing what you can't control is simply by recognizing that you can't control it and then just leaving it. That's it. I can't control this, I'm done. If you want that to help, sorry, if you need help with that, simply put a create a chart. Things I can control, write it down, and things I can't control, write it down. And then just trash the things you cannot control. Recognize them, that they're out of your hands, and work on the things you can control. And I promise you this, every single thing that you can control, and you control it to the best of your ability, you will be a person that is unrecognizable, and you will be a person that you want to live in that body. Some people don't even like their bodies. You'll be able to if you follow that. So, anyways, after all that rant, why you hear me? Why'd you gotta listen to me? Some random dude on the internet. Well, who am I to tell you you got options? Who am I to tell you the options that you got? It doesn't matter, does it? I could be a nobody to someone, or I could also be the catalyst that you need to start your game. I've heard this. I've heard this saying, and it stuck to me because it makes sense sometimes. And the saying is, uh, God damn it, I forgot the saying, but it's basically insinuating that we always look or we always hope for a greener grass elsewhere. You look at your grass and you're like, oh, wait, it's not that green. Let me go to another grass. And then I go to the other grass, and then you're like, wait, that's green, but then it's not. The reason why I bring this out is because we always look at other people's lives and then we envy them, we get jealous from them, but we forget that they had shit that they went through. They had shit they were dealing with. However, the people that you are jealous from knew how to play their cards right, and so they perfected their grass, and now it's green. It wasn't green when they started. I promise you that. It was not green when they started. Or it wasn't as green as they wanted it to be, at least. Every person had to craft and carve their own path somehow. And if you compare, I love to take my years into chapters. And so if you compare, when you were 20, when you're in chapter 20, you compare it to someone's chapter 40, and then you're like, "Yo, I don't got what they got." Duh, you're in chapter 20, bro. You're not in chapter 40, you're not in chapter 30, you're not in chapter 25. Who knows? You got a chapter that's hidden for you that's going to be the flip of a switch. So don't envy others, but do take initiatives by looking at others. Don't be jealous, but have the fierce power whenever you look at someone who's stronger than you, who's better than you, smarter than you, richer than you. Be like, how can I be that? Instead of, oh man, he's richer than me. He's just lucky. I may also just be a guy on the internet that speaks nonsense, but I do know a thing or two. My name is Danny Faraj. I am a systems engineer and a personal trainer, and I'm trying to perfect my own crafts in my own timeline, and that's what matters. So if you are in for this journey, tune in, subscribe, and let the fun begins. Peace.